Hey there, financially savvy travelers. Danielle Desir here. I know what you're thinking. I thought you said you were going to be back with new episodes April 1st. I am actually going to be back on April 1st, but I wanted to share with you that I'm doing an IG series right now, live, all about self-publishing and becoming an author and being a successful author, meaning that we have a manuscript ready to publish and get our books into readers' hands. So I was doing it on IG for the past 2 days. And I said, you know what, like my financially savvy traveler audience, like y'all deserve to be in this action too. So I am going to be releasing those episodes in the podcast feed as well, so that you can absolutely be able to listen to my tips and to join in on the discussion. If you're not following me on Instagram, I am the Danielle Desir on Instagram. And if you head over to my IGTVs, you could actually watch the videos. I didn't record the first day for you, so I apologize for that. But this is day 2. You're going to be listening to the day 2 clip. And I still think that it has really good gems in there. And I also wanted to share with you that I am launching a 6-week writing intensive program. So if you're looking for accountability, you're looking for someone to kick your butt, but also really help you step by step to get your self-published book out there into the world, I'd be honored to be your coach and to be your writing partner. So you'll be hearing about that a little bit later in this episode, but I think that's it. So I will see you again tomorrow, where I will again be uploading all the days of this 7-day writing IG live series. And I'll be back with new episodes for real on April 1st. So I'll see you guys soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the author series. I am actually doing 2 things at the same time. I am recording the podcast episode as well as going live on IG. So this is something new for me, but I figured, you know what, if I'm sharing it on my IG, I might as well share it on my podcast as well. So I'm super excited. Yesterday in the author series, we talked all about carving time so that you can be able to write, and more so the mental of it, right? There's a lot that goes on as a writer, or even as a first-time writer. There's a lot of self-talk, self-doubt. And if you're not making sure that you have the space to work through those things, then you might end up not completing your book. And that's the last thing that we want to do. So yesterday, if you want to watch yesterday's video, head over to my IGTV and you could watch the replay of that. Today, what I want to talk about is really setting expectations for yourself as a writer. So these are all the things that you do before you even sit down and write down anything on paper. Tomorrow, we'll definitely be talking more about outlining, but for now, I just want to, again, get us in the right mind frame. The first thing I want you to think about after you've set a date out into the future where you want to start writing is for you to find the right time of the day that's going to be best for you to be creative and for you to write. Now, I personally don't think that all hours of the day is appropriate for your creativity. I personally have found that in the mornings when I wake up and the first thing I do is I'm being creative and I'm producing content, that works for me, but everyone is going to be different. So I want you to identify the times of the day that you are the most creative so that you can devote that time to your writing practice. Okay. That could be in the morning, that could be in the evening time or afternoon, that could be late at night, whatever time works for you. Identify that. And if you're not really sure when that is, just start to take notice. Like, when do you feel most creative? When do you feel like I could productively write right now? Like I said before, I write early in the morning. So when the first thing I wake up, I have a routine where I get my cup of coffee and I just hop on the computer and I can just write for a couple hours uninterrupted. I like the morning time because it's usually very quiet around my house. My dog isn't awake yet. My husband isn't awake yet. So I just can, just focus on my thoughts and just put pen to paper without any distractions. Also, if you have a 9-to-5 job, then early mornings and after 5 p.m. may be what you're going to be forced to do, right? So I have a full-time job, and before 9 o'clock, that's when I have the time to actually devote to writing and doing other creative projects. So that actually coincides with my with my schedule in terms of my writing practice. So it just makes a lot of sense. But understand that sometimes you will be writing outside of your creative hours, and it's just that just happens to be the way it is sometimes. But primarily I'm an early morning writer, and I feel most creative at that time. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to identify your metrics of success. As a writer, what are you going to do that is going to make you feel like you accomplished? Having a book at the end of the day is not necessarily the only accomplishment that you're going to have. Meaning that, yes, the end goal is absolutely to have a published book at the end, or a manuscript at the end, but there are other metrics that you could use to really quantify your success. One of the metrics that a lot of authors use is your word count. So that's actually one of the first things I think about, when I'm thinking about writing my next book, is how many words do I want to put on paper? Now, at this point, when you're putting this word count goal, it's not going to necessarily materialize, because you're just kind of really planning it out. But it's really when you're putting pen to paper and you're writing that you're going to discover if you have more words in you than you think you did, or you have less words in you than you think you did. But I think it's good to have some benchmarks for success, and a word count goal is always a good thing. Now, I am the type of author where I focus primarily on shooks, which is called short books. So short but impactful reads. And my books are typically anywhere from 10,000 words to 30,000 words. That is where I straddle. And whenever I'm thinking about the next book I'm writing, I'm thinking, okay, ideally, how many words do I want to have down on paper? Is that going to be the end all be all? No. There's been plenty of times that I've surpassed that word count goal. And then there are plenty of times where I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to reach that word count goal because I said everything I wanted to say. So I use that again as a benchmark, but it's not the end all be all a metrics of success. But a lot of authors use word counts as a way for them to stay on track daily. So let's say you want to write a 20,000 word book and you divide that by 3 months. Every day you should be writing X amount of words per day. So that could be something that you use as a benchmark to make sure that you're on target. Primarily for me, I don't like to have word count goals for the day because some days I'm very productive. There's days I sit down and I bang out 700 words. And then there's other days that I only have 250 words to put inside of, to put on paper. So for me, I've realized that word count goals aren't necessarily going to be the most effective way for me to measure my daily success. How I measure my daily success as an author is just showing up every day and writing. So if I devoted time to sit down and I was focusing on this project daily, that is a success. Checkbox, I won for the day. And it doesn't matter how many words I put on paper. Like I said, some days I have 150 words, but some days I have 2,000 or 1,500 words to say. But for me, again, it's all about that writing practice, that flexing that creative muscle every single day. So identify what your metrics of success will be. You can use a word count goal, daily word count goal, or you could use something like me. It's just showing up every day could be the most effective thing for you. And that is really important. The other thing I want to just really quickly mention is that don't beat yourself up over if you're not able to meet that goal for the day, right? So if you're unable to reach that word count goal, and then you kind of have to switch gears and work on your business or take care of your family members or life happens, like don't beat yourself up over that. I think a lot of authors, they find themselves feeling guilty that they're unable to meet the goals and standards that they set for themselves. And for me, I'm just like, my intentions are what is really matters. I know I want to intend to write every single day. There may be some days that I may not be able to. So maybe I'll work harder the next day, or I'll front load it the day before, or I'll try to figure it out. But I don't beat myself up over not being able to meet daily goals. However, I do want to say that I do try. Like I do literally try. Like it's a practice. It's like I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth. That is a practice, right? That's something that you do every day. I do try to make writing part of my daily schedule when I'm writing my books. Now, the third thing I want to say is, how many words do you want to write overall in total? I think that is very, very important. And I just want to reiterate that as a nonfiction author, your book doesn't have to be this huge novella. It doesn't have to be this huge 50,000 word book. that it doesn't have to be that. Actually, in fact, most readers these days want something that's short. They really do. They don't have a lot of time to read through hundreds and hundreds of pages. So making sure that you're thinking about your target audience and what kind of time commitment will they have to reading your book. So again, thinking about your target reader, what kind of feeling you want to evoke with them. Will they actually be able to sit down and read all of this in one sitting without getting bored? And, making sure that you're able to transform their lives in whatever way or whatever form or fashion is really important. So that is key. That is super key. So now when I'm writing, I'm always thinking about, okay, is my ideal reader going to have the time to sit through? Are they going to feel bored? Because when you write extra stuff, it's like, and it doesn't end up in your book, it's a waste of time. So again, these are things to consider. So I'm going to do a really quick recap, and I'm going to also share with you a resource. So number one, when it comes to setting expectations for your writing practice, you want to make sure you're identifying the right time to write. When is the right time for you to write your book? When are you the most creative? Are you a creative person in the morning, in the afternoon, or night? Please be aware that your life constraints, like your full-time job or family obligations, may have something to do with that, right? So if you know that, let's say your family is awake at 7, you may have to wake up early, like 4 or 5 a.m. so that you can be able to write. So it's about, again, carving out that time. And then I would even take it a step further by time blocking on your calendar. So you could put like a calendar reminder every day that says, okay, I'm going to devote to writing between 5 and 7 a.m. before my family wakes up, or something like that. So identifying your writing time and also putting on your calendar is super effective to making sure that you're going to be successful. Secondly, I want for you to think about your metrics of success. How and what will help you to feel successful at the end of the day? What will help you to finish writing your book? Is that going to be setting a word count goal, like how many words you want to write a day? Or perhaps it's just a practice of just writing every single day. Maybe that's could be enough. That's enough for me to feel accomplished. So identify your metrics of success. And then last but not least, consider your word count goal. And I know a lot of us were like, well, it sounds great if we have 30,000 words. But again, what's the context of your reader? Is your reader going to spend 3 hours reading your book? Do you even have enough content to fill up the book with 30,000 words? Most nonfiction books are anywhere from 10 to 30, maybe even 50. So there's a wide range of spectrum. So you don't have to feel committed to writing a huge novella if it's just not in your calling. So hope you found this session helpful. I wanted to point you to a resource. If you head over to the Thought Card podcast, which is my podcast. Hey, financially savvy travelers. I know you're listening to the podcast right now. If you head over to episode 60, I had a panel discussion with Michelle Jackson and Gertrude Nonetrah all about what it's like writing during the pandemic. And they shared a lot of tips about their writing practice, how they set themselves up for success, also how they plan on marketing their books. Because the pandemic is a little tricky. It's a little tricky during these times. Not only we have to work on our mental, like just us being able to mentally write, but also there's so many external factors that are affecting us and our ability to succeed as authors. So that is all that I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to this live. Alrighty. What did you think? I hope you found this mini episode, interesting, especially if you are an aspiring or you are a current author. I definitely realized that quite a bit of my episodes are actually tailored to content creators, which I didn't intentionally intend to do that. But I think what happens is that I love sharing. So it makes sense that I talk a lot about authorship, freelance writing, and as a content creator on my podcast. So I think I have over like 10 episodes in total that either touch on either being an author, being a freelance writer, or content creator. So if that's you, shout out to you. And I hope you found this mini episode helpful. Again, I'm going live for the next week on IG, where I'm just going to be sharing my tips to really help aspiring authors. Now, just wanted to also share with you a very exciting offer that I have for you. I am leading a 6-week writing intensive program, which starts April 4th. So every single Sunday from April 4 to May 9th, we're going to be meeting together from 10 to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be writing our books together. So if you want to write a nonfiction book, but you're struggling with either getting started or keeping up the momentum to finish your book, then this is going to be the writing intensive for you. I found that motivation and discipline are really critical to developing a well-rounded writing practice. And I have definitely been there where I wanted to write a book, but I just couldn't find it in me to do it. But I found that ultimately creating an outline, keeping consistent writing schedule has really helped me to launch my indie career. And since 2019, I've published 5 affordable travel and personal finance books, and I'm definitely not going to stop. Hopefully I can get through to writing podcasting books as well. So the goal of this program is for you to have a finished manuscript ready for an editor to review by the end. So by June, you will absolutely have a finished manuscript because we're going to be writing together for 6 weeks. In addition to the co-writing sessions, we also have on-demand outlining step-by-step video training to help you really get that outlining process fleshed out. You'll also get a step-by-step self-publishing roadmap, which will help you detail step-by-step, like how the process will work, and also a list of marketing ideas. We have a 6-week cohort, which means that for the 6 weeks, we're going to be meeting every week for about somewhere from 2 to 4 hours. In addition to writing, we're also going to be outlining together. We're going to be getting your book covers, design, working on your book descriptions, and setting yourself up for pre-orders, which is exciting. Get money in the bank. That's always exciting. Also, you're going to be working on a marketing plan. Last but not least, if you prefer or if you want to join the VIP program, you also get additional one-on-one strategy sessions with me. You also get a bonus 1-hour writing sessions 2 times throughout the program. We have an extra editing session so we could work on self-editing our books. And also, I will be more than happy to read your book and be one of your first readers and provide you with some feedback for your first draft. So if this sounds cool and you want to join, again, we start Sunday, April 4th. You could head over to the show notes or type in danielledesir.com/intensive. So danielledesir.com/intensive, and you'll be taken to learn more. And I hope to see you then. All right, I'll be back tomorrow with another mini episode where we're going to all be talking about the outlining process. So I will see you then. Bye for now. Bye.